What's going on? How we doing? Can you guys hear me? Does this work? Testing 1 2. I know you wanna leave me, but I refuse to let you go. How we all doing? Oh, look at all these good-looking people. This is ridiculous. Y'all should be banned. They should not allow this many good-looking people in the same room. I'm just being honest. I'm just giving my opinion. That's what I do. Yeah. I know it's maintenance day. I stole somebody's joke, and I said that I love maintenance like I like a bad toothache. Actually, I had a patient who told me that today. They said, I like you like I like a bad toothache. And I'm like, what? I mean, I understand. I'm annoying as fuck. But so, I think I changed the title. Did I change the title? Yeah, I got a big beard coming. I do. I got a big beard coming. I got to shave it eventually. I gotta get it trimmed up. Here's what I can do. I can minimize myself so I look more handsome. So this is when I'm the most handsome. Like I'm a 10 out of a 10 right here at this size. And then like as I slowly now I'm a 9. I'm like an 8 out of a 10. And you can start seeing clearer what I look like. You know, that's why I like women with like mind's eye. The less vision, the more handsome I look. I'm about a 7. I'm about a 6. There we go. Get into that 5 range. Uh-oh, now you're going to start seeing Ben Stiller and Drake Baby combination here. Oh, now I'm leaving? Okay, I'm being really fucking obnoxious. I'm sorry. So anyways, did you guys see the update with Wu Chang? Did you guys see that? He's gonna be fucking ridiculous to kite. He really is. He's gonna be an ass. So we'll take a look at some of that a little bit later. We'll talk about some of the updates and talk about the overall content. What we think about the update. Season 10 is here. I have a typo. Let me change. What's this? Yeah, we'll talk about it, as we always do. We talk about everything that we possibly can. We will talk about the update. We'll talk about some of the things that I think is going to happen with him. He's going to be an animal. Wu Chang is going to be an animal. We will see. I mean that the ability to throw the umbrella and then it highlights everything around. Kind of think of like Anne's cats, except more accurate. And highlights everything around, and you have 5 seconds to decide whether you want to teleport there or not. And then on top of that, you get a movement speed bonus when you don't have your umbrella. So you can throw the umbrella and just go this way and decide if you actually want to teleport because the player will be highlighted. What's going on? Look at this positivity. Look at this positivity. I love it. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. So yeah, so he's gonna be updated. Why is no one talking about the magician buff? Why are we not talking about it? Magician got buffed. Crazy buff that he got. You can no longer see his character when he's in stealth mode. So that's gonna be a crazy thing. You know, peepers should no longer work, I believe, right? That's gonna be some cool stuff. Yeah, he's getting a buff. You got a buff where you can't when he's in stealth mode. All of the abilities they shouldn't reveal his location. No, I think he might still get terror shocked. But like the thing is that I think that there are abilities that you could still see his invisible body. Right? Yeah. How about we read it? Let's read it. Let me read it. Right here. Magician, where you at, boo boo? Where you at, boo boo? Magician adjustment. Magician will no longer be displayed as a result of skills that reveals survivors' locations when he is in stealth mode. Pretty damn good. Ooh. Just log into the game. You can see all the updates right there. Oh my god, yeah, dude. Playing Magician can be so annoying. Oof, playing against Magician can be annoying too. A good Magician, always getting them damn illusions, so frustrating. Blood Queen, not that I'm aware of, no. Magician used to be S tier. Magician used to be S tier in season 1. See, that's actually why the character tier list. Everybody used to think Magician was bad because you could get Terror Shock, but you know, in Legendary Rank mode, it used to be Magician and Thief. You know, this is when people were trying to say Gardener was S tier. We're talking about the first like 4 weeks of the game. I came out and I'm like, nah, that's not true. That's not what we're seeing in high tiers right now. Season 10 coming. I think, alright, so I haven't decided yet, but I think I might go for tier 6 this season. I might go for tier 6 this season. I usually don't give a damn about tier 6. I think it's a waste of time. But I'm considering it. I'm playing a lot of Dead by Daylight mobile though too, so what do you think Wu Chang will be after his buff, seeing as he is C or B tier now? If everything goes according to plan with Wu Chang, I think he might have A tier potential. I'm thinking he may have some A tier potential. I really do. I could be absolutely wrong. I haven't played it, so I don't want anyone to be like, oh, Persuade said that Wu Chang. I'm saying that he may have A tier potential. He's getting a few buffs. His movement speed is going to increase. When he doesn't have his umbrella, he can use the umbrella to see if there's a survivor and where that survivor is. He can decide whether he teleports or not. He has 5 seconds to decide whether he teleports. And for a high tier Wu Chang, yo. All right. So here's the thing that no one's talking about. Well, maybe they are. All right. But here's the thing about Wu Chang. This is what scares the shit out of me. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready? Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to break it down like a naked clown. I want some bacon now. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. All right, anyway. Start a rap career right there. All right, so here's the thing about Wu Chang that scares the shit out of me, right? So so when you're a high tier hunter, right? You know where all of the spawns usually are, right? There's a little bit of flexibility with the... But anyways, so one of the strategies, I'm just going to use an anecdotal reference, and then we're going to take that anecdotal reference, just the basic story, and we're going to run with it. We're going to explain everything. So one of the most popular strategies back in the day for Red Church is that when you spawn in Graveyard, so think of Red Church. If you guys don't know what Graveyard is where all the big fucking long walls are, right? You have a cipher machine over there. So that's Graveyard. If you run straight, you run into Wedded, right? So you got Graveyard, Wedded, and then you have the walls where you can break down on the other side. And then you have Red Church right here. Okay, so you got Graveyard, Wedded, Broken Walls, Church, Exit Gate. We call this Bat Gate, and then you got Wedding Gate. Okay, so a popular strategy used to be when you spawn in Graveyard, instead of running straight, okay, the problem with running straight as a Ripper is that there's too many walls. There's too much kiting potential there. So what a lot of hunters would do is they immediately run to Wedding. And if there's nobody at Wedding, there's usually somebody in that broken wall corner. And in that broken wall corner, although there's a lot of things that you can do there as a kiter, as a Ripper player, which used to be the meta, your Foggy Blaze could go through the walls on that side of the map, whereas in Graveyard they can't to the same caliber. So kiting a Ripper is actually good in Graveyard because its Foggy Blaze won't go through the walls as good, so you can kite better. All right. One of the down plays to that strategy, right? So you don't go this way because there's too many walls and too much shit that top tier kiters could go. So you go this way. And one of the biggest flaws to this methodology, one of the biggest flaws to the strategy is that if there's only going to be one player over there, and if you go all the way over there and it's the mercenary, you pretty much just lost the match. Not always, but against high tiers, you could, because you wasted all of your early game going into a vulnerable spot, and now you got to deal with a mercenary. Wu Chang can use his umbrella, and what's going to be interesting is how accurate will the highlighting be. Because every hunter will tell you how many hunter mains or how many hunter players here, whether you're tier 6, tier 5, as a high tier hunter, you go to that sweet spot only to get fucked because mercenary is there. And you're like, oh god, what do I do now? Wu Chang eliminates that possibility. Because when you throw the umbrella, it's going to tell you what right away if you got to deal with mercenary or not. It will tell you if the character is there. In my argument, Wu Chang might be the most ultimate counter to Mechanic and Mind's Eye. Because if you know where all 4 spawns are, and you throw it over there and you see Mechanic, you know who to go after now. If you throw it over there and you get a highlight and you see mercenary, you know where not to go. And while you throw your umbrella, you have a movement speed bonus, which means that it's helping you get to where you need to get to even faster. So I think Wu Chang is going to have incredible potential. I think he's going to be better in tier 5 and tier 6 than what he is in tier 3 and tier 4. Because in tier 3 and tier 4, you have a lot of that sort of, what's it called? You have a lot of players who play together who have communication, whereas in tier 5 and 6 on other servers with a higher player base, you don't. So I genuinely think that Wu Chang is going to be an A-tier hunter. I think he is. I think I'll upgrade my analysis. I think Wu Chang is going to be an A-tier hunter. Until we play him, we don't know. But if you use Wu Chang correctly, now don't estimate this based on the first week. Give it a couple of weeks. Give it so high tier players can get the strategy down, get the spawn points memorized. And I think Wu Chang is going to be at least an A tier. Is Ann A tier? I don't know yet. I gotta look at the data. I'll look at the data soon. The season just started. We're giving a little bit. So I think that Wu Chang is going to be deadly. I think he's going to be deadly. I think he's going to be annoying to deal with. And you also got to be very careful if that dude has peepers. If that dude has peepers, just throw the fucking pallet down. Just throw the pallet down, which means you're most likely going to get a north and south. You're going to get... I mean, if I was a Wu Chang, I'd probably, just going off the top of my head, I'd probably go east and south, building up to at least 20% pallet speed reduction, and then I would consider going for attack recovery speed. You don't always have to get pallet destruction speed all the way up to 40%. Sometimes 20% is good enough depending on the hunter. What do you think, chat? What are your thoughts about Wu Chang? We're going to read some of this, alright? I think he's going to be in east and south, but I think you can build up north with him. I think he's going to be dangerous. I don't think it's going to happen right away. I think people are going to have to practice it. Alright? Thoughts are that ping should be better. Yeah, we all agree with you there. You ain't going to get no disagreements there. I started playing Wu Chang in my free time, so now I'm hyped to see if I get more wins. You probably will, but you have to know which cipher. You have to know the weak areas of the map. What am I doing wrong here? Hold on. Is this? Oh my god! I'm trying to plug an Android adapter into an iPad. That's embarrassing. Just give me a second. go. So we're gonna talk about Wu Chang. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry about that. Wu Chang added new tier 0 skill. That means that it takes 0 skill to use them. It's a dad joke. I don't regret it. No, just means that it starts right away. You throw the umbrella at the target location where it will stay for 5 seconds. Outlines of survivors in the area covered by the umbrella will be shown, with their movement speed and Volton speed slightly decreased, and other interaction speeds significantly decreased. So you're actually debuffing the survivor if they're within that umbrella. Outlines of these survivors will still be shown for 5 seconds after they leave the area. For the duration where the umbrella is active, Wu Chang can choose between teleporting to the umbrella or switch into dual soul. Oh shit, I messed it up. And switch into dual mode, soul mode, or retrieve the umbrella to recover skill cooldown. Without the umbrella, so you throw the umbrella and now you have no umbrella, Wu Chang's movement speed and window Volton speed is increased, but he can't attack or engage in other interactions. Not a big deal because you're transitioning anyways. The umbrella will return to Wu Chang when the 5 seconds are up. Increase the attacking speed of Wu Chang's first attack after switching into dual soul mode. Adjusted the action speed of Wu Chang's summon skill so that it's now linked to the teleportation distance. The shorter the distance, the faster the action speed. Basic value adjustments slightly increase White Guide's pallet destroying speed and Black Guard's movement speed. Your pallets are going down faster, and Black Wu Chang is going to kick your ass. Now, there's been adjustment to his attack and his knife judgment. So, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I was in high school there where the teacher selects you to read out loud and you're like, fuck. That's what that just felt like right there. I think he has a lot of potential. I really do. I think that if you're still not a good hunter, it's not going to change that. I still think that he's going to require some good game sense. You need to know the strong areas of the map. You know the weak areas of the map. You need to know how to use your umbrella correctly. You need to know where to throw your umbrella. And the other thing is again, I think that there's going to be some interesting strategies in regards to this Wu Chang. I'm just going to throw something out there. It may not work because there's a lot of things that don't work when I come up with these ideas, and there's many that do work when we come up with the ideas. But my thought process is that you don't want a mechanic to decode too long without somebody being injured. So the question is that when you throw, first of all, a lot of Wu Changs are going to know where to throw their umbrella. So the strategy that they need to decide is, do you immediately go after the person that you first attempt your umbrella on? Try to get that first hit in so you debuff the mechanic, right? Because a lot of people still play mechanic. Okay. See if you can hit them before the window cooldown, or rather the skill cooldown. And then at what point do you throw that umbrella away to really find the location of where that mechanic is? If you could shut that mechanic down, that's going to be a very deadly thing. So it's going to be a really good combination of trying to figure out how to use that umbrella to counter the decoders in the game. The other thing too is that, again, you throw that umbrella, you immediately know if you're going to go after a mercenary or not. If you're an AND player, it's not always that case. The idea that you can throw your umbrella to a spawn point that you know that the survivors are going to be in, now what's going to happen is that the survivors who are not meta are probably going to get their ass kicked, and then people are going to ask for a Wu Chang nerf. But that's my prediction. But if you're playing the same regular characters, whether it's a seer, you got your mercenary, you got your mechanic, you got your perfumer, you got your prospector, you have Enchantress, dude, I'm not gonna get started on Enchantress. I had an epic rant about her last night as a character in general. Those characters should be fine, but the other characters like Cowboy, gotta be careful now, right? You get caught off guard. You now have a Vulcan debuff. You now have a speed debuff. It's going to be an interesting strategy. Hey chat, can I ask you guys permission? I promise you I'll time myself so I don't get out of hand. Can I ask you guys permission to go on a very quick rant about Enchantress? It will make me feel better as a human being. If you allow me to vent and rant like a child, can I just get it out of my system? Please, you may have to turn your volumes down. Can I rant about Enchantress? I'm going to come off as extremely pretentious, childish, and extremely immature, but as a practicing clinician, I will feel better about my life. Can we go? Okay, so here we go. We're going to start it. All right, so first of all, if you brag about being on the leaderboard with Enchantress, you're literally playing the fucking participation trophy of this entire game. That's what she is. She's the participation trophy of competitive gameplay. All right, let's talk about this. You get rewarded. You get rewarded for sucking. How are you excited about that? How do you go to your friends and say, oh, I'm an Enchantress player. That means that I fucking suck and the game rewards me for sucking by allowing me to stun you. And who would want that? It's like being a two-pump chump and then getting somebody impregnated. Everything about that is just fucking awful. Right? So I don't understand how anyone can be excited about being an Enchantress player. I get so, or then I see the 2 versus 8 footage of an Enchantress with movement speed, running around, constantly stunning, doing absolutely nothing. You know what you are? You're the fucking Magikarp. You're the Magikarp from Pokemon of this game. You flop. You're a fucking fish. I don't even know how that makes sense, but I feel better about my life right now. I just don't like Enchantress. I don't like Enchantress users. I'm just kidding. I love you all, but I'm being pretentious. I'm being childish. How is that fair? I can be on Arms Factory, boo-boos. Arms Factory, we're in the corner of the map. I hit you in the booty hole with my Foggy Blade, right? With any other character, I'm going to slap you again. I'm going to get that boom, boom, the double tap, right? But no, that don't happen. Because what happens is that the game rewards you for sucking, and right when I'm about to hit you, boom, stun me. Then you go inside the damn stupid little shack, you throw the pallet down, you hop the damn window like somebody, like whatever. And then you go to the middle of the map, and now I got pallets, and now I gotta worry about you getting a factory. And you pull off a 75-second kite when you should have been. Your booty got tapped in the beginning, and you got rewarded for it. I feel better. This rant has been only 2 minutes and 15 seconds. I feel good. I would like to thank you all for allowing me to get that out of my system, and I would like you to know that I love you all, and I feel better. I do feel better. I hope that you all feel better. And if you're an Enchantress user, I still love you. I don't, but I do. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that annoying cousin that you don't mind seeing once every year just to see like what else they're doing to kind of fuck up their lives, right? But I still love you, you know what I mean? Like if you need me, I'm here, like I'll talk to you. You know, and I'm still rooting for you, but I'm like always interested about like what you're doing, you know what I mean? So that's how I'm just kidding. I got my ass kicked by an Enchantress last night. I'm really mad. It's been 24 hours and I'm still mad. Okay. Don't take me overly serious. I was just playing. Just having a good time. All right, back on the Wu Chang. All right, what's going on, everybody? Oh god, I feel so much better though. I really do. I know that there's somebody who's going. Oh my god. Do you know how much balls it would take for a YouTuber to come out with a video trying to tell you that Enchantress requires the most skill? Honestly, if you're a YouTuber that wants a lot of subscribers, the best way to troll this community is to come out with a video trying to convince everybody that Enchantress requires the most skill to use in this entire server. Somebody should do that. That would be just so hysterical. Maybe I should do it. Just come out with a video. Enchantress requires the most skill in Identity 5 and just make a 10-minute video with just absolute lies. Just absolute lies, absolute fill. Oh, that's funny. Alright. Yeah, do it on April Fool's Day. That's the, ooh, I gotta think of something for April Fool's Day. You know somebody will be in the comments too that takes it super serious. Those are the people that read The Onion, right? For those who don't know, that's a satire news source. And then they'll comment on Facebook, I can't believe society is really turning out this way. And it's like the entire article you just read is fake. Okay, so what do you guys want to talk about, alright? I obviously let everything out like a little child that I am, alright? I feel better. I don't care. Judge me. I don't give a damn. I feel good now. What do you all want to talk about? Let's go. Make sure you tag me because it will highlight and then I can see it. Persuade. You put the salt in Salt Bay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, one of us Identity 5 streamers needs to be more salty than everybody else. Cats is like a gift from God. He's like, oh, that's such a good hit. And then Grizzly's like a little bit worse, right? He's like Luffy from One Piece. Like he's like second gear, and it'd be like, dude, come on. And then me, I lose my shit, dude. I'm like fourth gear. That's what I am. Persuade. Let's see. Please make corny jokes. Oh. Well, if you want corny jokes, then I guess I need to rub more corn on my D's. That was so stupid. What is lawyer's tier? I wish he was S tier. We'll say he's S tier. Are you actually going to do customs after the update? I don't know. I really don't. Persuade, I think Feaster is a good counter to Enchantress. What do you think? Mate, you're gonna get me riled up again. You're gonna get me riled up again. So he's not that bad of a counter to it, but you gotta be careful. What tier do you think the new survivor will be? Gravedigger? Gravedigger, if he's not nerfed, he's going to be super annoying for hunters. We can talk about that if you guys want me to talk about that. I think he might be borderline broken, which we can talk about. What do you think about Seer? I think Seer is relatively fine, I guess. I mean, I don't, but I think you should have to earn that initial owl, but then it would be useless. Well, what's your opinion of first officer? I actually don't have one as of now. I mean that honestly. What do you think about the clown? I think that the clown is super easy to kite. And whoever uses him well is a god. Can you talk about the name of the areas? Yeah, we can come out with a guide on that. I think Gravekeeper will be a new top rescue kiter and will be abused. Yeah, probably. We could talk about that. Talk about how great Prospector is. He's very underrated in this server. Will Wu Chang buff do anything to the meta? I think that he will. I think he has the potential of being A tier. I mean that. I think he may be an A tier hunter. Wait, how does Enchantress not require the most skill? Only skilled players use her. Enchantress players and Priestess players are usually the same sort of people. They're the ones that troll you in 2 versus 8 because they suck in 1 versus 4. Persuadable, is Mind's Eye A tier? No. Tell me how. That was such a good comment. Oh, that would trigger such a large community. Not that I'm trying to trigger people, but I love giving my personal opinions because everybody gets so mad at them. What do you think about Anne? I think she's really great. I think people are going to get better at countering her though. Do you think Geisha needs a buff? No. Persuadable, please make in more corny jokes like that video when you kited the Geisha with D. Right now, my videos have been a little bit more serious lately. I'll put like 1 or 2 jokes in there. I think it's because it's a testament of where I am in life. I'm very focused right now. I'm very focused on getting the content out. So sometimes there's a sacrifice to my humor side. But one thing that I don't like to do is force it. Like if you see me like acting like a child and having all those sort of all those jokes in there and the dad jokes and all that stuff, that's just how I'm feeling in the moment, and that's why the jokes are genuine. But I don't want to force them, So sometimes you'll get the serious side of me. Sometimes you'll get the empathetic and sympathetic side of me. Sometimes you'll get the Gordon Ramsay side of me. I'm a human. I have different moods depending on the day, right? I try not hiding that from YouTube. And honestly, I make my videos super quick. I actually just just do it in 1 take. I don't like make my videos perfect because if you guys ever meet me in real life, I want you to see how awkward I am not only in YouTube, but in real life as well. And if I hide that and you ever meet me, then you're going to be like, dude, he's awkward as shit. Well, now if you meet me, you're going to be like, he's awkward as shit. I expected this. So I just do everything in one take, and whatever the result is a result. Let's see. Hold on. Damn it. I think I lost my spot. Okay. Could you make a video soon on how to kite Clown and Ripper? Clown should be relatively easy to kite, to be honest with you. You gotta remove yourself from the dangerous areas. Is Mad Eyes A tier? He's definitely A tier. Hold on. Wait. Okay. Catching up. God, there's a lot of comments. You guys are awesome. Could you make a video soon on okay, I just answered that. What tier is Gardener? I don't really know. I don't think she's that great at all. Sure, she has like a little bit of immunity in the beginning of the game that can help out a team, but it's not really that functional in my opinion. And that's why the objective data that we have looking at the higher rankings is that the best Gardener players are nowhere near some of the other top. So that's the difference between theoretical strategy versus practical. You'll have some people that look at the theoretical strategy and say, this is a good strategy, she must be a good player, but then when you practically put it into application, it's not. And just because you can win with one player doesn't mean that you couldn't win more with another player. So just because you win with that player doesn't make that player good. It means that you could be a good player. So when we look at character tier list, that's where we look at, okay, skill is an important factor into them. But what about the win rates? What are the best players using? What are the chemical makeups of those? And then who cares? Play who you want to. What happened to your DBD video that was uploaded today? I deleted it. That video wasn't supposed to come out today. What about Coordinator? Oh, what about him? What's your thoughts on Dancer? Let's see, Dancer. Dancer can still be annoying. One of her biggest counters was Ripper, and if Ripper could hit their Foggy Blades, and now he's gone. You gotta be careful about Gamekeeper with her, depending on the map. You got more geishas now. We'd have to look, but I still think that she can be permissible for sure. I haven't seen many clowns in Rake anymore. Thoughts? What tier is he in now? It's just because the United States, Northern American, European server, their clowns aren't as good as the clowns on China. However, speaking in general terms, Clown is still, or was still, A tier in Season 7. I know that for a fact. I don't know where he would be right now. I'd have to look. But I don't fear a Clown. Let me put it that way. I think they're super easy to beat. But that could be relative to the skill set on our server. Let's see. Persuade, you say that oh, we have somebody who's trying to troll, I think. Persuade, you say that Clown is bad, but you got your ass kicked by Dead in the US tournament. In the UA tournament, I have never faced Dead in any tournament. That is false. I've only participated in one tournament. That was the first tournament ever hosted by Identity 5, and I won. Thank you for answering. You're welcome. Yeah, I hate when you hit Gravekeeper's tunnel thing and reload. It gives them extra transition time. Yeah, Gravekeeper's gonna potentially be broken if it's not altered and adjusted. We'll talk about that. How did you pronounce? I say data. You have data. How is your Dead by Daylight life going? I'm having a lot of fun. I'm currently ranked 4. I'm still trying to level up all my characters. What's your opinion of Priestess? Very formidable. She's very annoying to deal with as a hunter. And a lot of high tiers, especially on Moonlit and Sacred Heart use her. Why did you fat shame Wildling? That was probably one of the funniest things that I've said on YouTube. That was in last stream on YouTube. That was the last video that's uploaded. You guys should check it out. I lost my shit. That was so funny. There was a Wildling that was like, I think they were lagging, so their character was moving slow. And I'm like, dude, you're not, no, this is just, you're getting overweight, dude. The little boar over there can't handle your weight. Look how slow you going. God, that was I feel like that's one of my funniest moments on YouTube. I was losing it. That was such a funny moment. Would Anne counter Enchantress since if she leaps, she stuns the survivor? When I play Anne, I'm not as worried for Enchantress as I am with other characters such as Ripper. Do I think Mechanic needs a nerf? I mean, no, there's a lot of strategies that you can utilize against her. She's already been nerfed 3 times. Do I think Anne needs a nerf? I don't think so. What's your thoughts on Priestess? I heard they're gonna make hunters go through her global portals. Good, they should. Is Cat your cousin? No, he's not my real cousin. I think I skipped some. Let me move back down. Let's see. iAlien said Gardener is A tier. I wouldn't know. I don't watch iAlien's videos. iAlien, his character tier lists actually aren't that bad. I don't think his character tier lists are that bad, actually. I disagree with him on some things, but, he puts a lot of energy and effort into those character tier lists. I definitely don't think Gardener is A tier. The last that I checked especially on 3 different servers, the Gardeners, their stats didn't justify that area. I think that's more of a theoretical strategy, and I understand possibly where his line of thinking is going with that, but I disagree with it, and the stats don't agree with him either. But it's just a fundamental difference in our opinions. You have to remember that when you make a character tier list, okay, it's based on your methodology. So you can come up with different character tier results based on that methodology. For instance, you have to ask iAlien, how does he measure what S tier means, what A tier means, what B tier means? Because I have defined what my character tier lists represent. A tier means that you'll still see them in tournament gameplay, right? He may have a different way of measuring what characters' ranks are, so when I say I disagree with them, it's based on my methodology. If he has a methodology where he says, okay, maybe he considers it rank mode, legendary rank mode instead of tournament mode, right? Tournament 5v5 mode, or as an example, then it wouldn't be that his methodology is wrong. It wouldn't mean that his character tier list is wrong. It just means he measures something differently. That's how research and data works, but I definitely don't think that she's A tier based on how I measure her. I haven't been watching the qualifiers. Have we seen Gardener in any tournament gameplay whatsoever? And if not, then why is she A tier? Your thoughts on Wildling? He's annoying to deal with. He's definitely annoying to deal with just as a hunter, but he's easy to ignore. I think Wildling is better in 2 versus 8 than what he is in 1 versus 4. Does Geisha need a buff? I mean, no, because there's plenty of Geishas that are using her correctly and they're winning. What do you call a... I don't know, I'm not reading that. Let's see what we got here. Let me go down. Do you think Axe Boy should be buffed? I think that his orbs should be able to go through rocket chairs. I don't like that his orbs get hit by a rocket chair, because the orbs don't hit walls. So why do they hit a rocket chair? Why, when I'm trying to prevent the rescue, if I aim it and it calibrates on the rocket chair, you don't take damage? Unless they change that. Did they change that? I may be speaking out of line here. Did the dev screw Cord over? She's useless now with her debuff. I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I still see her being used. Her flare gun can be super annoying. Are you talking about the decode? Is Cat your cousin? No, he's not my cousin. What's your thoughts on Priestess? I heard they were gonna make hunters go through her global portals. I can check on the test server. I don't think that's happened. But she's annoying. She's super annoying to deal with, especially in Sacred Heart. Let's see what we got. Hold on. Oh my god, there's so many. Jesus. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to read them. I'm catching up. Hottest girl in Identity 5 is persuadable. I agree. Can Thief counter and... I'm sure there's ways to do it. You have to really be able to avoid those cats, though. Thief is an early game character. Late game, he kind of sucks. How do you think the Postman will be used in the future? If I was a Postman player, my strategy, you guys know that I've been ranking up with Postman. If you don't, now you do. First of all, I think Postman is better in 5v5. I think Postman is better in tiers 1 through 4 because you can stay in a coordinated team. I don't really know the best strategy for him in tier 5 and 6. My theoretical strategy is that if I have a mechanic on my team, the first thing that I'm going to do is send over an envelope to the mechanic for kiting. Even if another character ends up kiting first, they should have the skill set and the ability. I know a lot of you are laughing at that statement, but they should have the ability and skill set to be able to kite. If I send an envelope right away, that means that I am now working towards also getting my own buff. So if the hunter comes towards me, I'll also get my buff. And the first buff I usually like to do is I would like to send the initial obstacle Volton envelope because it lasts for 90 seconds. That means anything that I leap over, I get a 40% buff. But that happens second to building a left wing. So if I build on the left wing and I build broken windows and knee-jerk reflex, which means that I get a 50% movement speed bonus, that triggers first before the envelope triggers with me utilizing a 40% increase. So if I hop a window, that activates my left wing, and then if I hop another window, that activated that envelope of increased volt speed. Guess who that counters? Blood Queen, Anne, etc. Because now you're transitional kiting like an animal. If you send an envelope right away, then that means that it takes about 55 seconds for another envelope to come, so there's a good chance that if somebody can at least kite relatively well, you can give them another envelope in time. If you wait and the hunter comes after you, you can give yourself the envelope, but now it's going to take, what, a minute and a half before you can send an envelope to anyone else if you survive. So there's a lot of potential there with him. I think he's going to be better in 1 versus 4. I think there's better options with Postman. You have Mechanic, Mercenary, Seer, Perfumer. And just because you do well with Postman doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be, let's say, S tier or A tier or anything like that. But playing in Legendary Rank mode with people you're not communicating with definitely is a hindrance to his innate ability. I think Postman still is undervalued. I think he has a lot of potential. He's the only character that can really utilize his skills all throughout the entire match to send decode buffs and all of that stuff. If he sends a decode buff, he is the 3rd fastest kiter, and he's now decoding at 112%. That's crazy. Let's go. Will they ever nerf Cypher Rush? Probably not. Should Mind's Eye be buffed? Not really, no. How do you call, I'm not gonna read that. Is 8 lawyers and 2 versus 8 good? No matter. What do you think? Let's see. I alien put Gardner in A- tier, not A tier. I have no idea what A- means. I just go A, B, and if that's B tier, I'd probably still disagree with it. I think. At the end of the day, people will do what they can to win in Legendary Rank mode, and our numbers don't support it. Just numbers aren't there. And then when somebody's like, well, I could play Gardner and be legend, I could be tier 6, and it's like, yeah, you could. Because there's hunters and survivors who have win rates of 40%. Does Photo need a buff? I don't know. It's a good question. Probably not. Oh, Persuadable, did you know that Mind's Eye can barely see Anne's cat range? It's so unfair. I think they need the buffer on that because I always get stunned since she can't really see the cat's range. I mean, she's legally blind. You know? There's a difference between total blindness and legal blindness, by the way. People don't understand that. Not you. By the way, she's legally blind. She's not total blind. I think that you should be worried about playing Mind's Eye. You shouldn't have good vision. A Chinese cowboy player leaped over in when the cat was on and it had no effect. Oh, really? That's interesting. What places can Ripper's Foggy Blades not go through? Oh, that's a whole video. Crab Shack on Lakeside. Can't go through, it usually can't go through, what are those things called? Barrels. There's certain objects. Red Church, can't go through graveyard walls. Some areas you can, but not really. Anything that's thick. A coordinator's booty. Persuadable, how do you think that Postman will be used in the future? I think I answered that question, but If it were me, I'd send an envelope right away, because if I give a mechanic a buff, I get the buff as well. So that means that there's a 50% chance that my envelope is going to work well for somebody. And if it's the mechanic and me, that means that the other two players should be good kiters. That's usually a seer, that's usually a mercenary, that's usually a perfumer. They really shouldn't have to rely on that sort of thing anyways. And if you send it right away and they can kite at least, 60 seconds, that's even if the hunter finds them, right away, you should have another envelope for them anyways. And if you don't, you can send a decode one right to the mechanic again, if you get it. Do you think Blood Queen should get nerfed? My only problem with nerfing hunters is that there's bullshit survivors like Enchantress in this game, so I always take that into consideration. Can you shout out my friend? Oh, bend over. I fell for it. Jokey, you're so annoying. I love you. Persuadable. How beneficial is learning to use Cowboy? Cowboy is a fun character to learn. I don't think he's S tier or A tier. He's more of a fun character to play. You play against really good hunters like Wu Chang when it comes out, the buff, especially a Blood Queen. You're always going to have players who are like, oh, you should still be able to kite as Cowboy, and it's like, you should be able to. But because many hunters other than Bon Bon and a few select others don't build north completely, doing the window lasso trick doesn't work well. There's a few exceptions to that, regardless of whether they have confined space, such as Sacred Heart, when you jump on that lip. But, he can be very annoying. He can be very fun. I would say he's more of a B tier character at best. He's definitely not A. He's definitely not S. But at the end of the day, you shouldn't only be playing S and A tier characters. Play the characters that you're having fun with. I mean that. Does Steve counter and we talked about that. Do you think they should nerf accelerated decoder? So I don't know, because we don't have it. We don't have the data on the win rates. I know in Season 7, the average win rate of the top 100 hunters in China, I think, was 63%. So in Season 7, the top win rate of the best hunters was like 63% on average. Survivors were like, damn it. Hold on. I'll just get the data. Because there's actually, if there's any part of the stream that you pay attention, this is probably the most important part, in my opinion. In Season 7, alright, so like nerf accelerated decoding, right? So the idea of nerf and accelerated decoding is the idea that survivors are better than hunters, okay? That would be the premise. If your argument was as hunters are better than survivors, you wouldn't make the argument should you nerf decoding, right? So in Season 7, the top 100 hunters in China, their average win rate was 63.26%. The average win rate of the top 100 survivors in Season 7 in China was 45%. So you can see that in China, the hunters were significantly better than the top 100 survivors. Significantly. In Southeast Asia, it was actually relatively the same. In Southeast Asia, the win rate of the top 100 hunters in Season 7 was 58%, actually 58.9, around 59. The average win rate of the top 100 survivors was 47.86%. Alright? In Northern America and Europe, I actually don't even remember the numbers. No offense, but I didn't really care for them because the sample size isn't large enough, so it wasn't accurate data to begin with. I did find the average persona for the average character points for every single character though in Northern America, Europe. Alright? When I went to see, so Season 7, for the best players, the top, remember, the flaw to this is we're not talking about tier 4s and tier 5s, we're talking about tier 6s, the best of the best, which isn't representative of the game. So there's a flaw to this methodology. But when I was looking at the top 10 now, so it's not top 100, but it's the top 10. So there's another flaw to the methodology. But when you look at the top 10 hunters in China, their average win rate was actually 58%. Now, I know that there were some YouTubers and streamers and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with this, but they were telling you how the number 1 hunter in China has a 42% win rate. That's true. The number 3 top hunter has a 40% win rate, and the number 4 top hunter had a 47% win rate. So when you look at that data, you're like, hunters, what's going on? The best hunters, they're not doing good. But then what you forget to notice is that the number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10, 66%, 64%, 60%, 54%, 72%, 66%. So when you look at this, you got to remember that when you look at the top players in this game, there's a difference between being a top 10 player from skill with a high win rate versus being a top 10 hunter with a 40% win rate. That doesn't mean you're not a great hunter. It just means that you're there in your position because you play more than everybody else. I don't know how you can try to argue that point. Right? So when you look at the number 1 hunter and you say they have a 42% win rate and you say, oh, hunters need a buff. Well, no, they don't. Because the average win rate of the top 10 hunters is still significantly better than the top 10 survivors. However, what we do know is that the average win rate of the top 10 survivors was 56% and the hunters was 58%. Now, we can't draw a direct comparison from Season 7 to Season 10 because the Season 7's data represented top 100. But what we can see is that over the adjustments, that ridiculous win rate from Season 7 of the best hunters that was significantly higher, 63 to 45, is now relatively even between 58 and 56. So if you want to nerf accelerated decoding, the question is for who? And how does that affect the high tiers? Because right now, whether we like it or not, the game is more balanced now than what it was in Season 7. But a lot of those hunters who are winning 63% of the time, who are now only winning 58, or 57, or 56, 58 on average, at least in China, they're bitching because they're not winning as much. Well, that's because they were winning too much. So, I don't know. You use that data to your own knowledge. Let's see what else we got. We still... I gotta go back up. Hey Persuadable. What's going on, TJ? Quick question. Do you think we could ever play Identity 5 together to help me with my kiting skills as the mind's eye or a mechanic? Yeah, we could play. Let's do it. I gotta work on my own kiting skills right now. My forward is awful. My forward is so bad. I think that Wu Chang has a really good potential of being A tier for sure. Is Gravedigger going to be available in high tier matches? We're going to get to that, I promise you. Any advice on Kite and Bonbon? I haven't been doing too well against them. Bonbon players are only going to get better. They're getting better. They're timing the 1-2 punch way better. I still struggle with that 1-2 punch combination. It's hard. And this is why I think that transitional kiting is going to be more important than ever now. Remember how we used to tell you don't throw the pallet down? Well, maybe you should. Right? Maybe throwing that pallet down if you have a left-right build, you see them coming, you hop that pallet, you start running while it starts transitioning. The problem is that a lot of people are they have difficulty adapting their skills. With kiting changes. There's a difference between transitional kiting and there's a difference between tight kiting. Certain hunters you can tight kite like an animal. Certain areas are really good against geisha, right? If you do it correctly. In other areas, the transitional kiting can help you against characters like Blood Queen and Ant. So, should I buy Postman or Prospector? Buy Prospector. Any advice on Kite and Bomb? Just listed that. What team comp is Priestess best with? Priestess right now, there's actually a lot of top tier survivors who are using Forward and Mercenary and Priestess combinations. Their idea is that the hunters are really good, they can kick our asses, and if we play survivors that don't have crazy kiting skills, we're going to die too early. So we're better off kiting better and slowing the game down because accelerate and decode helps us in the end. That is a strategy that's very popular now. I live feed on Twitch. You guys can check me on Twitch. My name's Persuadable on there, and we watch high tier matches all the time. So usually I'm on every night. We're watching, we're analyzing, we're watching high tier players play, high definition, and we're watching them kick some ass and getting their ass kicked, and we're seeing different strategies. Do you go against a Blood Queen? I suck at it and need a few tips. The big thing with Blood Queen is whenever you hear, you have to learn how to pan that camera around. You have to know whenever you hear that mirror sound, you got to be looking around you. You also need to know if you're in a weak spawn point area, because Blood Queen will use her mirror in those areas to try to terror shock you. A cool replacement for Enchantress, it would be you can't get a stack more by getting hit, but she gets her stacks faster. I think Enchantress should, yeah, I don't know how to adjust it. Do you think Perfumer should get more perfumers? Notice me. Hi, no. Perfumer does not need more perfumes. How are you feeling today? I'm feeling good. Thank you for asking. What's the most survivor-sided map? Probably. Oh, I don't know. It's a good question. Not Arms Factory. It's small. That helps the hunter. I mean, if I'm gonna be honest with you, Sacred Heart is a pain in the ass as a hunter, especially if you have Priestess. I think that different maps. I mean, White Asylum can be annoying as hell for most hunters. I don't know. That's a good question because you're asking me what's the most, which means it's more than the others, and that's difficult to quantify. Why is Ripper so thick? Hi, what's going on, Karina? Do you think Doc should be buffed or nerfed? Nah, I think she's fine. Postman tier? I don't know. Alright, let's see what other questions we got. Do we got any other questions? Yeah, I don't like Golden Keep either. What's going on, Kyubi? I think I said that. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I think Lucky deserves a big buff. I have 2 ideas. What about you? Nah, I think he's fine. Where did I get the name Persuadable from? That's a good question. I like how I don't answer. That's a good question. No, don't acknowledge. That's a long story. Evil Reptilian, underrated. Thoughts on him? I don't think he's necessarily underrated. I don't think he's overrated. I think that he belongs where he is, and I think people respect that. I think that he can be very annoying, but it depends on who you're playing against. Are you playing a try-hard team that's only playing S and A tier characters? You know, it's going to be difficult for him, especially as a perfumer, especially as a seer, those sorts of things. I have some high tier Evil Reptilian gameplay. And just remember that, you know, you have people with 40% win rates. They're there because either they're not good or they're unlucky and they have bad teams. So, you know, yeah. So your push-ups. Yeah. I got to do more of those. I'm sore right now. I can't do those right now. Will you boost me to tier 6? Hey, you're a troll. Joking. Do you have tips on how to use hunters? The number one thing is to know where the spawn points are. Your early game is everything. You need to know where the early game spawn points are. When you spawn, when that shit is circling, right? And you can't move your character, so you're in the game and it does that little dance twirl as it's adjusting your character and you're about to play. Right when you see that, before you can even move your hunter, you should know exactly where you need to go. And if you don't, then you haven't learned the map yet. You have a bad early game if you haven't learned the map yet, and that's going to really, really affect your gameplay. How do I counter pallet camping as a hunter? Usually North build will help you with that, so you can take it down right away. So how would you propose making Lizard more viable? I don't know that. I wanted to do that for all of the maps to spawn points, yeah. Should some pallets be removed? No. Again, where are the stats showing that survivors... I don't think it's a pallet issue. The more peepers, the merrier. I love that. There's apparently a photographer adjustment coming at some point. What do you think it might be? I don't know. I really don't. No idea. How could Embalmer be more viable? He deserves a proper buff. Maybe make it so if you want an honest, like on the top of my head, I think Embalmer would be more viable if when he sets up a coffin, it's not highlighted. So the hunter has no idea where that survivor is. But the embalmer has to touch the character in order to be able to set up that coffin for the character. So not just see, but actually physically go up to and touch the character. I think that it would be ridiculous for the embalmer to do that, but if it pays off, it could be highly rewarded. That's just my opinion. That's kind of on the top of my head. What is the best thing to do as a hunter when you have a bad early game? You yell. You blame lag. Don't ever take accountability. You know that song by Shaggy? But she called me on the counter. Wasn't me. Saw me banging on the sofa. Wasn't me. She even caught me on camera. Wasn't me. Right? You know that song? It's the same thing with your hunter skills. If you lose, wasn't me. If they beat you, wasn't me. Alright? That's how you will be a better hunter. Make excuses. Blame everything other than yourself. Blame lag. Blame survivors. Blame their mothers, their fathers, their sisters, their brothers, their cousins. But whatever you do, don't wish harm on their family pets. Family pets are sacred. If you're having a bad I don't know. Do you think they should nerf Ripper? No, they shouldn't nerf him. Do you think Clown's part equipment adjustments will be any good? I don't know. I haven't seen that. What do I think about Wu Chang's adjustments? I think he has the potential of being A tier. What's going on, Captain? Yes, it's been a long time. Any ideas on transition away from Geisha without messing up? Oh yeah, you gotta really know. You gotta know when she used her skill last. I also am a perfect perfumer main, so when I kite against Geisha, it's usually easy. To be honest with you, I'd say 9 out of 10 matches I can easily 3-cipher kite a Geisha, but I also have perfumes. If you substitute that with a different character, it's gonna depend on where I'm at. I also make sure that I physically rechange my area if I'm in a weak area. Alright? So if I'm in a spawn point where I know the hunter is gonna come to me, I completely change and I transition away. So the question is I think the biggest problem that a lot of NAE users do is that you guys are silly and you don't quantify kiting correctly. Kiting is not your ability to kite in close quarters. Kiting is your ability to waste a hunter's time by any means necessary. That is how kiting needs to be defined. So if you say if you spawn in point, say she spawns here, and you spawn here, okay? And you know that she's coming after you, and you start moving this way. And it takes her about 25 seconds to catch up to you. And then you kite for 40 seconds. Alright? You had a bad kiting session, you only kited for 40 seconds. You still kited her for 65 seconds. Because you were responsible for her coming after you. So kiting is not defined on close quarters. Kiting is defined on transitional kiting. It's defined as tight kiting. And even to a degree, hiding correctly. So, which is not really used too much. It's still a viable strategy, but it's very risky. So my point is that when it comes to that sort of kiting ability, if you learn the spawn points and you transitional kite, and you force the hunter to chase after you, one of the things that a lot of Chinese kiters will do is they'll just keep running forward. Like they'll still kite, but they're gonna run as far forward as possible because they understand that you trying to catch up to speed with them is still kiting time. Why try to tight kite you in this area for 10 seconds and potentially get hit 15 seconds if I require you another 8 to 10 seconds to catch up to me, and even if this area is not as optimal, I can still use it because I required you to chase after me. So tight kiting is not supposed to be a strategy that you always use unless you're in a very, very awful area and you have no potential of transition. And usually tight kiting is a strategy where you use to die in my opinion. Sometimes I'll tight kite in an area to start things off if I'm surprised. But the rule of thumb is that you should always be dictating as a survivor where you're kiting at. If the hunter gets you early game in an undesirable position, you fucked up. And you got to change that up. Early game, a hunter should never be kiting you on their terms. It should always be on your terms. And if it's not on your terms, you did something wrong with that character. And that's something that's very important to distinguish. That is your responsibility as an early game kiter. You have to take responsibility for that. And if you die early, which will happen, you'll learn from it. Just like I do. I die early sometimes. I learn from it. I lose my shit, but I learn from it. You have to ask yourself, what do I have to do differently? And that's how you'll learn the strong areas, the weak areas. You should never have to kite early game in undesirable circumstances as a survivor where you messed up. Who is your favorite survivor? It's Perfumer, and favorite hunter from a design standpoint. Design standpoint. Oh, that's an interesting question. My favorite hunter from a design. What do you mean by design? Do you mean by how they look or how they operate? I feel like design is defined differently. Dream Witch is not playable in 2 versus 8. Oh, I don't have a real answer for that. Can you do a when to pop the cipher video? I saw the video where that perfumer popped the cipher and you got really mad. So can you tell me when to pop the cipher? Yeah. I got a lot of backlash for that video too. Yeah, that was stupid. People, whatever. Who is your favorite survivor? I already answered that. I don't know why Dream Witch is not playable in 2 versus 8. What is the meta now? We'll come out with a video on that. What do you think about toxic survivors? It depends on what they're doing. There's actually only one thing that really gets me irritated. And I know that by telling this, the people who don't like me are going to do it. I don't like when I'm playing Hunter in 2 versus 8 and you're the last survivor alive and you're just waiting by it's specific. Right? Like if there's a bunch of survivors left in 2 versus 8 and the gates pop, I'm not telling you to leave immediately. That's unreasonable. I know you want to go for rescues and still kite and stuff like that. I get that. But this is a very specific set of circumstances, so don't broaden this to more than what I'm saying. I don't like when the game is over and you wait by the hatch just for me and the other hunter to travel all the way across the fucking map for you to waste my time. I don't like that. I think it's stupid. It's one thing if you want to kite until the end, but if you're just gonna stand by the hatch and just shoot people and you're annoying. You probably suck at the game, and that's why you're doing it. Because if you actually have skill, you don't need to do shit like that. I'm literally defining your personality, and I'm being judgmental in doing so. So I look like the idiot right now because I'm very well being one. I think that you probably lack skill. It's annoying. Now, if you're the last survivor left and you want to kite until you die, go for it. I'm down for that. If there's people on the rocket chair, even if there's people shooting me at the exit gate, I don't even get that mad about it. I'll be like, you little bitch, but I'm not that mad. It's specific to the hatch. You're not doing anything. You're just making us go all the way to the hatch as you sit there so you can shoot it. It's just a waste of time. Let me move on to the next match. Why are you going to be that bad at the game? That's my opinion. It's judgmental. That's very specific to the hatch, and I guess to a degree maybe the exit case, but not as much. The hatch is just annoying. Is it still good to use Gamekeeper hook and then throw the mug bomb at the survivor and then hit in 2 versus 8? Yeah, I think it would be a good strategy, right? Because when you hit them and they're inside the mud, it's going to take them longer to run out of it. I don't care about emoting at the gate. I mean, it'll frustrate me as a competitor, but not as a person. It's the hatch shit it's the hatch stuff that I genuinely in post chat want to write you're an idiot. You know what I mean? Because you're just waiting by the hatch, just leave, just go. Especially if I lose, because I'm bitter. I want the match to end. Persuadable, the type of hunter to use excitement when a perfumer uses the perfume. This way, you roasted cats on using underrated characters, but yeah, after more cowboys are getting used, more lizards not as much. See, Persuade, you roasted cats on using underrated characters, but yeah, after more cowboys are getting used, more lizards not as much. So more people are playing cowboy because there's a lot of good players who are just now having fun in rank mode. How much a character is used doesn't mean how good they are. There's a lot of people who mess around in rank mode and play different characters. Cowboy is still can be a very annoying character, but even Cats has agreed that Cowboy is nowhere. He's not the absolute highest rating Cowboy is B. Okay, even Cats agrees to that rating. So I don't know what your point is with that. Me and Cats roast each other regardless of characters. Persuade, can I add you to practice? I don't want to annoy you, so let me know if I can or can't add you if you don't want me to. Definitely add me when I'm playing on Twitch. But yeah, we always are looking for custom matches. 1 versus 1 catch thief wed. Have him go against Duty Spider. Tell me how he does. This teammate, I'm excited for Cats as #1 thief. You guys should be excited for him too. It's a good accomplishment. Do teammates spam and thank you messages annoy you when you mess up? It probably would annoy me. Yeah, it'd probably annoy me. But I just don't. Do you miss Doom Shock? No. When is the next Cowboy video? So I only play Cowboy when I've been drinking. And I promised myself I wouldn't drink for the rest of this month. You know, it's good to clean yourself, have that cleanse, you know. And I don't like drinking alcohol like every single day. So if I feel like I'm starting to develop a habit a little bit, I'll be like, all right, no more alcohol for the entire month. So next month. Do you also help hunters get better? Well, with basic strategies and stuff, yeah. Of course, strategies are strategies regardless of how good of a hunter player you are or you aren't. You know, a lot of top tier survivors could tell you some good top tier hunter strategies because they play against them. Would they be as accurate as a top tier hunter? Probably not. But just because you're a top tier hunter doesn't necessarily make you accurate either. You have top tier hunters who have 40% win rates. So if I come out with an analysis video on a hunter, but then you have a hunter with a 40% win rate saying, well, I don't play like that, but yet I'm using a Chinese player who has a 65% win rate, who does play like that, and does the things that I say you should do, who am I going to listen to? Because if I come out with tier 4 footage of the strategies that I'm telling you to use, then it's not as valid. So then why not come out with the tier 4 strategies, right? As well as top tier players with really high win rates who are doing well and showing you the stuff that I'm telling you to do. And when it came to Call of Abyss, I'm sorry, not Call of Abyss, when it came to the summer tournament, me and Call Me Duty, we talked about strategies all the time on Red Church. Duty's one of those guys who doesn't really need a lot of coaching. But, you know, we played, I'd watch him. Sometimes he'd say, I need you to watch me play on this map. Tell me your thoughts. He ended up winning the summer tournament. So, yeah, you can help players. But the objective there is to watch a lot of gameplay, to analyze, and to have the evidence of it, right? Like with top bomb players, there's like 3 different ways to play the guy. 4. And then when you have a top, like actually the #1 bomb player on the US server, he's a super cool guy. I've played with him plenty of times. I really like him. The #1 bomb player on our server, I think the dude he's like super young. He's on our Discord. Super humble guy. Very nice to play with. Like I really enjoy playing with him. And you know, he's always like, hey, Persuadable, like I got some strategies that I want to show you and stuff like that, right? Like he's eager. He wants to show the community how he plays Bon. And that's great. And he looks at the other strategies, I think. I'm not going to speak for him. And he knows the strategies that I'm talking about. I think the biggest problem is that if you only watch one player play, then you think that's the only way to play the character. That's a mistake that I did early in my YouTube career. And it's something that I'm trying to discern between this is how I play the character versus how this is how other characters play. For instance, Bon, some will put the charged attack on the rocket share. Some bomb players will put a 20-second. Some bomb players will put 40 seconds. Some bomb players don't do that at all. Top 10 Chinese players don't do it at all. So you, as the player, deserve that information. And I will be the one that gets you that information for sure. So when somebody says persuadable, I don't agree with that strategy, it's like, that's fine. But here's the data showing that there are people who are using the strategy and it's working fine and they have 65% win rate. So, what game modes do you think should be added in this high? I would love prop mode. You become a prop. You have to find the props, like Call of Duty and all that stuff. I like that mode. All right, let's see what we got. What else do we got? We got any more questions? I'm like trying to answer them all. Tips on Kite and Soul Weaver. Oh, she can be annoying as hell. Depends on where you are on the map. I'll be honest with you. When is Doctor good in high tier? I guess against the Mad Eyes. I guess, but they'll still find a way to counter you probably. Doom Shock. It used to be when I think you're 18 meters away from the rocket share. If you swing at somebody, I think you had a 50% chance of killing them in one shot. This isn't related to Identity 5, but will you go for Top Survivor and Top Killer and BBB? I'll probably go for... Yeah, I might. I might. Jokey, I don't want to hear about the win rate system. Dude, I love you. Get out of here. What's going on, Mackenzie? I do appreciate that. Yeah, so the win rate is affected by ties. What is the best mechanic build? I heard people suggesting me 6'9". I never agree with that. You should always have East Wing. I totally disagree with that build. You should always have East build. Always. If you could buff any character, who would it be? I could buff any. Fuck, that one stumped me. Could buff any character. I'm trying to think here. Probably a lawyer. He's just not permissible. We all know it. What do you do as a Mad Eyes? First chase or put up walls? It depends on the map and it depends on your strategy. I have plenty of high tier footage of Mad Eyes instantly putting walls down and slowing it down. And then there's some that will go right for the chase. If you could nerf any character, which one and how? I would definitely, what's going on Ibuprofen, I would definitely nerf Enchantress and I would just delete her from the game. Do you think Withers should be replaced? I don't remember that on the top of my head. What is that again? I don't know why. I'd rather just be I learned a long time ago. If you don't know, you just say I don't know. Since you and Cats do it, what about John and Eero in the Prospector Gadget video? John Zhao? Are you talking about John Zhao? Does he even play Prospector? I don't know who he plays anymore. My account got stolen. Please help me get it back. You're gonna have to talk to Identity 5 support. Persuadable. Have you heard of another Survivor horror game called Horror Show? I could look at it. I don't remember playing that. My account got stolen. You're gonna have to talk to NetEase about that. I can't do anything. Do you think they should buff Gardner? No, focus on Lawyer. He deserves it. What could be the changes in this season? I don't know. I really don't. Do you think Wildling needs a buff? He's already annoying. Just hunters know how to counter him. I don't know. That's a good question. Which hunters and survivors do you believe should be nerfed or buffed? You guys are killing me with that stuff, huh? Nerf Enchantress. She requires literally no skill to use. Buff Lawyer. I don't know. Which hunters and survivors do you believe I answered that? I personally don't think they need to change Lawyer. He's meant to be a tutorial character to help learn Cypher's spawns. Yeah, but I mean, to a degree, Gardener is an entry-level character as well, and they adjusted her. But I see your point. I'm not going to debate it. I think it's a good point. Do you think Barmaid is underrated? Yeah, probably. Wither is the trait which slows down the survivors when they get from 10 to 12 meters away from the chair. No, I think that should be fine. Prospector needs a nerf. Do I think Prospector needs a nerf? I think that Prospector shouldn't be able to accumulate magnets while on the chair. If that got nerfed on Seer, why is that nerfed on Prospector, unless I'm wrong? Yeah, Wu Chang's definitely going to be better with his new buff, in my opinion. We'll see. I'm doing good. How are you doing at PO? Legendary starts Matthew at tier 5. Did I answer everybody? I'm trying to go rapid here. I'm going rapid. We're trying to get everything here. What else we got? I'm doing good, by the way. Thank you I do appreciate you guys asking me that. Is Acrobat or Forward a better kiter? Forward is. Do you know why Cat stopped playing Hellember? No, you would have to ask Cat. What's the hardest hunter to counter? It depends on the survivor you're playing. Persuadable, what's your opinion on Blackjack mode? I don't play Blackjack mode. I'm not interested in it. So I don't have an opinion. Maybe my opinion is that it's uninteresting. Who is better, Barmaid or Doctor? Oof. I don't know. Well, I would rather play Barmaid than Doctor. How about that? Are you going to watch more top Chinese bonbons? Yes, definitely. What's the meaning of life? To subscribe to Grizzly. Do you transition in Hospital Shack at beginning of match, or do you transition if you spawn front? It depends. Do you transition in Hospital Shack at beginning of match, or do you transition if you spawn front? Are you asking me if I spawn in front of the hospital, do I transition to the shack, or do I go into the hospital? Is that the question? I'm a little confused. What's your Twitch? My Twitch is Persuadable. You guys can play with me there. I do try to do live feeds on YouTube once a week, though. Is Dancer underrated? I think so. I did a stop motion based off Identity 5 short, and I emailed it to you. I hope you have a chance to check it out. When did you email that to me? Is the world flat? Yeah, you're gonna trigger me. Who's the most attractive survivor hunter? I say, I don't know how to answer that question. I think Enchantress is pretty, because she looks like Dari, I'm not gonna lie. And then, I think she's a pretty character, Enchantress. Hunter. I'd say the most attractive hunter would probably be so if I'm going to be alright, obviously like if I'm gonna say a woman then I'd probably go with Geisha. But if I had to be objective about it, removing gender from it, I think Joseph is a handsome motherfucker. We admit that Joseph is majestic. I mean that. He's just a good looking dude. It's not my fault. He's a good looking guy. Get mad at me all you want. Dude's majestic looking. If I look like him in 20 years, I won't be mad. Alright. What tier is Postman? I don't know yet. How do you feel about Golden Lag being in rank after this update? I'm just saying, photo boy. I know, Dari gonna message me being like, babe, is there something you want to tell me? Yeah. Joseph looking kind of hot. I'm a straight male. I'm gonna tell you straight up. You're looking kind of good. He's gorgeous. Don't get mad at me. I didn't make him. I'm not gonna pretend he's not gorgeous to prove to you all that I'm straight. That just makes me not look straight. So I'm just gonna be straight and own up to it. That dude look freaking gorgeous. He's majestic looking. Give me a sec. I say the stupidest shit. I gotta get some tea. Hold on. All right. What else do we have? All right. I'm trying to do my best to like answer these questions. What else we got? Rule 34 is gonna go crazy about Joseph and Persuadable after this. Who's Rule 34? Who's that? I got destroyed on Leo's memory by you. Call me duty as I played Gamekeeper. If you remember, you got any pointers that I can use? If you're getting destroyed by people like Call Me Duty, me, Paul Blems, we're tier 6 well, I'm not right now, sorry. But we've been playing the game for over a year and a half. So I think the only pointer would be, I'm just saying, as a hunter, if you go against survivors that know the routes, it's just difficult as a hunter. I think your best strategy would be to learn the weakest area of that map and the spawn points relative to it and just attack the hell out of them. I would love to hear a joke. I feel like I'm setting myself up here. Least favorite hunter to go against. Right? Right now, Blood Queen. To a degree. She could be annoying, but if you could survive that first window, like that first mirror transition and transition away, she's a lot easier. I can't, Gonzalo, I can't. What's the hunter you don't like to go? I answered that. Oh, hunter. I actually don't like going against Mad Eyes. As here, is it better to focus on kite and occasionally look back? That's weird. What was that? As seer, is it better to focus on kite and occasionally look back for owls? Or practice looking back? You need to know when to look back and when to transition, relative to the hunter's speed and capabilities. There are some that you can run right in the open and accumulate the owl and make it to the next area, and some areas you need to stay tucked up to a wall. I don't know about S tier skins. Do you think that tier 4 is mid tier? Because there are a ton of really good players there personally. There's a lot of Smurf accounts in tier 4 though as well. But I would say 4 is mid tier. Yeah, because 5 and 6 is high tier. I'd say 3 and 4 is mid tier, and 1 and tier is low tier. But I do know that the Identity 5 quantifies that differently. I think they actually quantify 4 through 6 as high tiers, if I remember correctly. I can't remember how they quantify it. I thought that they quantified 4 as high tier as well. I disagree with how they operationalize that. Would you compare NA-EU bonbons with Chinese bonbons someday? Yeah, definitely. The big thing is just learning from their play style. That's it. Just seeing what they're doing on each individual map and seeing how the strategy works for you. Okay, so Mackenzie, that's very nice of you. Persuade, remember when you said they should make a map where you only swim? Do you still think that? I'm not gonna lie, I was probably drunk, but that would be a that would be always. Oh yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah, I had to swimming bath. That'd be funny. What is your least favorite thing about the game? My least favorite thing about the game. The high tier players who think they're gods and who are unwilling to help other players in the game. They're more worried about their own ego, and that's my least favorite thing about the game. I'm just being honest with you. That's how I feel. Am I the best mercenary? No, Blue Jube is the best burglar. A burglar stole a calendar. You got 12 months. Oh, that was good. Who's your second main for Survivor and Hunter? So my main Hunter has always been the Ripper, technically. Survivors, I like to use Perfumer a lot. I used to like Dancer a lot as well. The problem with Dancer right now is that she's a really solid tight kiter, and Blood Queen and Anne can really counter that. Do you think we need a survivor-like photographer? I think that would be hard. What is your favorite skin? My favorite skin. I still love Mechanic's Red Riding Hood. I still think that's like. I remember when the entire community saw that Red Riding Hood skin, and we were all like. But I did buy the Reaper or Ripper. I think that's what it's called. And I have Red Riding Hood. I ended up buying those skins. Usually I don't care about skins, but I bought those. What else do we got? What do you call average? Okay, what do you think about the Postman? Hi Tantan. I played the Postman. I'll have a video of him on YouTube soon. How do you play against Dream Witch in early game? You look around. You do not give her that damn first Terror Shock or hit. She can be difficult. And I need more practice against Dream Witch players. We don't have enough on our server. Any tips on how to kite survive Deer Man? He could be annoying as hell now. Even if I tell you to stick to tight areas, sometimes his shit is going through walls, so he's definitely a lot more difficult to kite than what he used to be, for sure. How to kite him, it depends on the map. Depends on your character. Pick good characters. Are you going to be playing any other games? Dead by Daylight Mobile, for sure. No, but I am jealous of your cowboy. Hey, jokey, I had some good lassos last night. Let's be real. Alright, what did you used to do as a new player that you thought was good but now realize is bad? What did you used to do as a new player that you thought was good but now realize is bad? What did you used to do as a new player that you thought was good but now realize is bad? What did I used to do that was bad? As a coordinator, I used to never use my flare gun to prevent the clown hit early game. That was a big strategy that I was technically wrong on, but then most of those strategies didn't work in the tournament in Southeast Asia either. So, but that's a good strategy for coordinator back in the day. And I remember I was against it. I was totally against it. There was a big Reddit post on it as well. But that's just two philosophies on how to play. My idea was is that you shouldn't be in a position where you need to use your flare gun, but there are definitely opportunities for you to use that flare gun to prevent the hit, and force the clown to have to choose insolent. So yeah, that was a good question. Where do toes go when they're sleeping? I don't know. Is Identity 5 just a scary fashion game? Identity 5 is not scary at all. It's like saying Disney is scary. If you do custom 2 versus 8, what would we have to do to join? I go on live feed every day or 5 days out of the week now on Twitch. We do custom matches. I tell people add me, and then we go down the list and up the list, and from there we just invite people. So it's just catching me at the right time. You know what's interesting? I don't know why a lot of people like only use YouTube for watching live streams. I really like Twitch for live streams better than YouTube. Is the tow? Yeah, the tow truck. That's right. You call it tow truck. All right. Hey, does anybody know how much we got to talk about the grave digger? We're gonna talk about the Gravekeeper. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my tea, and then we're gonna talk about the Gravekeeper. I have a lot of haters on Twitch. It just means that you're getting popular. You're always gonna have haters. Whatever. I'm gonna go fuck themselves. Hold on. I'll be right back. Yo. Ow. Okay. So we're gonna talk about two things. Let's do this. So, first thing. Hello. Hi there. It's me. Look at my beard. It's getting all burly. I'm gonna get it all nice and cut up. Alright, so here's the thing. Let's talk about this. So two things. We're gonna talk about Gravekeeper. We're also gonna talk about something else. So somebody actually I got an email. Figuratively. How about we put it that way? And somebody was like, Pliable, why do you make you make inappropriate jokes? Don't you know that you have kids watching you? Do you think that's responsible? So I looked at the YouTube analytics. Well, first of all, if you're a child or a teenager rather, that's up to your parents. That's not up to me. It's not my job to babysit your parents, right? So they should be able to give you permission on what you should and should not be able to review. But second of all, I looked at the YouTube analytics, and it's very clear that almost less than 10% of my audience actually is between the ages of 13 and 17. The majority of my audience, 90% and more, are actually over the age of 18. Furthermore, I looked into this. I'm actually impressed by this. Did you know that women, and this is impressive because women are underrepresented in the gaming industry, in my opinion. We only have I think the male audience of my 25,000 viewers only accounts for 53%. We have a lot of female viewers, We have a real lot of female viewers, and I was surprised by that. I thought we were gonna get 70-30 or something. We have a lot of women, a lot of girls, a lot of women who watch as well. Look at that, the benefit of not being a sexist prick to people. They'll actually like you. Who would have thought? But that's actually why I don't usually make gender jokes, to be honest with you. I just kind of stay away from them. Except I can make fun of myself. When I screw up, I say, I'm a man, we screw up everything. So, but yeah, that's some interesting facts. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, let's talk about Gravekeeper. Yeah, I'm still using Ripper. Let's talk about Gravekeeper real quick. So here's what's going to be interesting about Gravekeeper. All right, and my concern about Gravekeeper is that I have a feeling that he will be nerfed after playing him and using him. When he's underground, right? How about we pull up my YouTube video? We're gonna check something out real quick. Give me a second. We're gonna do this together. Let's do some math.
Right, digging for escape. Always bring.
Give me a second. So I can't remember on the top of my head, so I'm just gonna do it live instead of giving you guys false information. So I'm gonna go with display capture, add source. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna bring this down. We're gonna make my ugly ass mug. Minimize. There we go. Look at that. I look the most handsome like this because again, you guys can't see me that well. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna put this right here. We're going to go back here. Alright, so let's do this. 257, 258. We're just going to check something here. Okay, so we're at 3 minutes and 7, 8. So we're at about 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So let's see something. Guys, he's still underground. So this ability forces the hunter to pop you up. So we're at about 3 minutes and 44 seconds. So he can stay underground for what, about 35 seconds? So he's under, this is just one time using the ability. So his ability forces the hunter to pop you up. And what happens is that when he ends up, it's crazy. So what's interesting about his ability is that unless you have a sub hit let me get rid of this real quick. 35 seconds. 35 fucking seconds. Do you know how many videos on Pornhub you could watch in 35 seconds? Maybe not Joe, but I know I could. So I could finish a few of them. So the point. Why am I like this? Why am I hardwired like this? It's awful. Anyways, so 35 seconds you're on the, you force the hunter to have to hit you. And if the hunter swings and hits you, you absorb the hit and you don't take any damage as a survivor. There is no way as a hunter you can wait 35 seconds. There's no waiting for it. You have to hit him with a foggy blade. You have to hit them with a tentacle. You have to hit them with a gamekeeper hook. The problem is that not everybody's using that. Alright? Blood Queen's going to be a counter. I don't know if Anne's cats work. Even if they do work, it doesn't matter. So trying to, at 35 seconds is insane. There's no way. There is no way that that's going to stay that way. They have to nerf that. They have to. What do you think, chat? Oh, I never said you weren't allowed to be picky. We're all picky. It takes you longer to pick. But 35 seconds. So essentially what I can do is I can kite you, then decide to use my dig ability, force you to have to try to hit me. You hit me, it doesn't do any damage, so it's not like Perfumer that you can outmaneuver. You can literally, let me ask you a question, chat. Let me ask you a question. What happens if you dig and you just camp in between a pallet? You camp in between a pallet. You wait for the hunter to hit you, and then right when you pop up, you got a pallet that you can throw. So I'm just saying that what if you kite for a little bit, and then you go in your little hole, you're immune to attack, and if they hit you, they have attack recovery speed. So if they hit you, it's not like hitting a hog or whatever, the stupid boar wildland. You have attack recovery. He's going to be arguably one of the best kiters in the game. He will be arguably the best kiters because, at least with Perfumer, I used to be very harsh on Perfumer. With Perfumer, you actually got to get some of the perfumes down correctly. But Gravekeeper is going to be an insane survivor. Do you, chat, I dare you to ask me. I dare you to ask me. which character mains are going to use Gravekeeper. Don't ask me, because you're going to get me in trouble. But we all know which character mains are going to use Gravekeeper. We all know. You know it, and I know it. Enchantress and Priestess, the first... the first answer! That's funny! Oh god, my laugh is awful, but you made it come out. That's funny. Oh, oh shit! I'm gonna sip some tea. So I think he's gonna have to be readjusted, right? Because if you're able to kite, you use your dig ability. Even if the hunter tries to wait, what happens if you dig and you can't buy a window? Not even. You should keep moving. But you have attack recovery. So what they need to do is if they're not going to nerf the 35 seconds, it needs to be so if the hunter hits you and you pop up from the ground, they get no attack recovery speed. It's like missing a hit. I genuinely believe that. I believe, and then you could say, well, it's useless. Oh, why even use him then? I think that's a good argument as well. But at the same time, if you time it correctly, you can place yourself right before a pallet and try to stun him. I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. The fact that you have attack recovery speed is ridiculous. Like the boar, I think it should be the same. I think that's fairly reasonable. Can he go upstairs while being underground? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Probably not. But I don't know. He can, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying he cannot. Okay, so he probably can. That's gonna, and he has a 10% movement bonus. What's gonna happen if you just circle a hunter? I wonder if that's gonna work. You have a 10% movement speed bonus. What happens? You guys ever play prop mode? You ever play prop mode in Call of Duty or anything where you're moving around and the dude's trying to shoot you and you're just circling his feet? That's what I'm thinking. Alright. Does anyone know if is the update still going on? Oh, my iPad died. I know that they predicted it to be 4 hours, which is insane. No, they said 240 minutes. Do you think Geisha will be able to dash at him when he's underground? It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, they always make sure that the update is so people in China can have rank mode. That's why everyone's like, oh, why is the update always during this time? It's because in China their rank mode is like, I think, an hour after hours, which means that the update's always ready for them to play rank mode. Isn't that lovely? How do you feel? Do you feel neglected? Yeah, it's still under maintenance. I know, I'm being facetious, aren't I? What I will do is I will try to stream on YouTube, maybe once a week like we're doing now during the update and stuff. But yeah, people keep asking my updates. I usually stream on Twitch every day. You can watch me lose my shit. I yell a lot. I don't know if Bonbon. So the problem with trying to test everything about the Gravekeeper is that when I try to go in the test server as a hunter, sometimes I get bots and I don't actually get real players who are using the new character. So I can't test things out from the hunter side of things. It's a lucky thing. Like I know First Soldier Gaming or First Gaming Soldier, I'm sorry, I forget his name. I have him on Discord because he was having issues getting into the test server, so I was trying to help him out. First Soldier Gaming, I'm very sorry. And I know that when First Soldier Gaming was doing his test run, because we're both part of the test server, I like First Soldier Gaming. He's a pretty cool dude. Very nice. He tried to play as Hunter a few times and kept getting bots, and I kept getting the same thing. Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't watch a lot of the YouTubers and stuff. It's just I'm super busy. What happens to Gravekeeper when he's in the ground and Joseph takes a picture? That's gonna be funny. Can you imagine that? You just be underground. You wouldn't want to waste it though. Don't waste it. That's a waste of a really, really good ability. The only other thing that I can consider is that if you're going to use Gravekeeper, if you're going to allow him to be on the ground for 35 seconds, he should only be able to use his ability once. So you either nerf the duration or you nerf the quantity. You either make his first ability really good and worth it to use it once, or you nerf the duration and allow him to use it twice. Even if you allow him to use it for 10 seconds, then you can wait for it. Yeah, he has 2 shovels. What's going on, Negra? Negra. In case my accent made that sound different. Negra. Hi. All these questions about can Gravedigger whatever Grizzly hold my chocolate. Do you think the ping will ever be fixed? No, definitely not. I like how you laugh at that. I was very cautious on how I said it. I told you he's broken. Oh, hey, Paul Blems. Oh my god, Paul Blems, I can't wait to level with you, to rank with you. I'm going to rank with Paul Blems as much as I can. And Duty. Except Duty's always ranked with us. He's popular. Duty's always with somebody. Awesome accent. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about my accent. I have an East Coast accent from the United States. Would Gravekeeper be a good rescue? He has the potential to be, yeah. He has the potential to be. I told NetEase that I'm going to tell NetEase that I would be open to possibly Emcee for Call of Abyss 4 if we're invited. But I refuse to do Call of Abyss 3 out of principle because our server got neglected out of the regionals. So if they give me regionals and Call of Abyss 4, I will tell them I'll Emcee for Call of Abyss 4. I have no problem doing that. But I refuse to Emcee out of principle, and I'm sticking to my word on that. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that compliment regarding commentary. I just try to give it like it is. Just try to explain things that are happening in real time. Sometimes I mess up, you flub the name sometimes, but it's fun. It's exciting to try to tell you what's going on during that. I get way too excited though. The Japanese MCs who were known to be the loudest, like literally came in and started. I'm not joking. Came in and started bowing to Grizzly and I because we were so loud. Like NetEase, like they had the Japanese telecasters and they had Grizzly and I. And like they came in and they're like, listen, like the Japanese telecasters are very loud, and we're not gonna tell them not to. And Grizzly and I looked at each other, and Grizzly was like, I don't think they know Persuadable that well. And I mean, we were so loud. One of the directors was like, he's like, you're so fucking loud. I was like, hey, I get excited. I can't. Like when I'm like flipping out on live feed and stuff, those are real emotions. I am definitely going to die young from a heart attack, but I live life and I have fun. Would Gravekeeper be good at body blocking? Yeah, if you can time it correctly. Do you think the Reaper can keep up with the Gravekeeper? Yeah, the Ripper will be able to go past him. Is there an East Coast accent? I know there's Southern, Northern. Yeah. There's an East Coast accent. If you would like me to talk normal, I can do so right now. So when I talk, I try to do so and hide my accent the best that I can. So when I'm on YouTube, I'll say something like this. I'm going to show you my accent, how bad it really is. But when I'm on YouTube, I'll be like, I'm going to go and park my car in the parking lot. But if I'm really talking to you and showing out, I gotta go park my car in the parking lot. That's or like you guys say you guys like say ball, like basketball. You want to play basketball? Where I'm from, we like balls. You want to play basketball? You have a basketball. Let's play some balls. You know, like we have that accent with like AWL. Like instead of saying gorgeous, I'm like, yo, she gorgeous. Like gorgeous. Like that's how I talk. Like that's how I talk. That's how I talk. You know, like we have that East Coast accent. Yeah, like we say balls, like BAWLS. That's how we pronounce it. Like, oh yeah, wise guy. Oh, you got some balls on you. You got some balls on you. Let's go out to the parking lot. Go by a garage in the parking lot, you trash can. Or you guys, what do you call them? You call something. What's that thing called? You call it like a water fountain. What a fountain? The thing that you press in the water. Like you guys say water. I say water. Water. Like so, you press the button, the water pop up. Right? What do you guys call that? Fountain? Is that what you guys call it? A fountain? The thing that you click, the water come up. Because where I'm from, we call them bubblers. We say bubbler. I don't say fountain. The first time somebody's like, "Where's a fountain?" I'm like, "You mean like the big fucking fountain thing with water popping up that you see in pots?" And they're like, "No, we call them fountains." I'm like, "Nah, like where I come from, we call them bubblers. Like a bubble. I want a bubble. I want to go to the bubble and drink some water." Yeah, we call it in Rhode Island. We call it a bubble. Coffee. Yeah, you guys have coffee. That's how I say it. You guys have coffee. How do you guys say? You guys say coffee? I don't even know how you guys say it. Coffee. You have some fucking coffee in the fucking garage, in the parking lot. You chat Tony. You have some coffee. I want some coffee. You don't have coffee? You got some balls on you to tell me you don't have no fucking coffee. Yeah. Aurora. Is that how you say it? Aurora, or I don't know how to say a word. You guys are laughing at my accent. Yeah, so I have a very, very East Coast Italian accent. I'm very East Coast, especially when I get mad. When I get mad, I don't get mad often. It's actually very hard to get me mad. I get fired up, like in the game, but outside of the game, um, I don't get mad too often. You'll probably see me yell maybe once a year, twice. If I'm like really angry. I'm pretty low key. I take pride in being able to control that, but sometimes, I'm a human. Sometimes I'm not perfect. I'm not violent though. I'm not violent. I'm not. I'm not like. I'll raise my voice. I raised my voice today at work though. I'm not. I can't tell you why because of HIPAA, but I got my way in the end, and the patient got the medical services they needed. Remember when Persuable was a chiropractor? No, I'm not a chiropractor. Are you going to play Identity 5 after maintenance? I might. I don't know. Persuable, how do accents work? I don't get how your vocal cords talk just in a different tone. It's not just your vocal cords, it's actually your tongue placement. How you pronounce words is based on your tongue placement. I want you guys to give yourself a sentence. Say a sentence. Say a sentence right now. Say the lion is vicious. And I want you to say the lion is vicious 5 times and focus on your tongue. Close your eyes and say the lion is fishing. I said fishing. The lion is fishing. The lion is vicious just turned into the lion is fishing. But if you close your eyes and you focus on your tongue, you notice that your tongue is constantly changing. So the lion is fishing. When you say the lion, your tongue is hitting the roof of your mouth, right? So that can affect it as well. So there's a few things that come into play with your what we call oral motor ability as well. However, I'm not a speech language pathologist. They're the experts on that. I'm an occupational therapist. If hypothetically I had a Valentine's Day card and you took that card, would you have technically taken my V card? I should have stopped reading that. I should have stopped reading that. Good one. I suck at talking. But how did the first accent person obtain it? Hereditarily. I wouldn't know. That's all speech language. My iPad finally just came on. Yeah, I may experiment with Wu Chang a little bit when the server is up. I think I actually might go on Twitch in a little bit and play some Dead by Daylight mobile as we're waiting. Persuadable American or better English speakers say library and you speak Spanish. Have English as secondary language and I say library. It don't matter. You don't need to be perfect with your English. Don't worry about it. Don't ever apologize for your English either. But yeah, I'm gonna probably go on Twitch in a little bit. I'm gonna do one stream a week on YouTube. I actually did two. So I'm not forgetting about y'all. But I do love Twitch more. In terms of streaming, I love YouTube videos. So I'm actually gonna get offline right now because I gotta figure out what I'm doing for tomorrow's video. And I'll figure some stuff out. Thank you guys for watching. I am gonna get going. I have an incredible amount of love and respect for you. Thank you for dealing with my crazy, obnoxious personality. I do appreciate that you guys can accept all sides of me. That's a big part. And for the other audience, I will be on Twitch in a little bit, possibly. We'll see. You guys have a good night now.